Hello everyone, welcome back to IT and Research Accelerator. In today's practical ICT tutorial, we are going to learn the essential Microsoft Word skills that everyone should know. This lesson is designed for beginners who need to create assignments, reports, coursework, letters, could be academic documents, anything that needs to be typed in Microsoft Word. At least by the end of this video, you will know how to create a document, type some information, do some formats, insert some things like pictures, bullets and numbering, then save your work correctly and prepare that document maybe for submission as a report or any purpose for which it was created. Now let us begin. We're going to begin by first opening the Microsoft Word application. First, you're going to click the Start button or the search bar on your computer. On the taskbar, this horizontal line, there are those different options, the Start button and then the search bar. You can see when I hover here on this Windows icon, it shows the statement Start. Next to it, there is search. When you move the mouse there, it still shows you this is for search. So, any can do. You can use the search. When you got the search, type Microsoft Word and then open the application. When I come and I put Microsoft Word, the application is here. Sorry, initially here it has Word app. So it's the one we click open and then it will load. So, depending on the version of Microsoft Office that is installed on your computer, the appearance may slightly be different, but the main tools are generally similar. On the opening screen, we are going to click on blank document to create a new document. So when we click like this, you see that a new document has opened on the screen. Now, we are going to begin by understanding the Word interface. This is the Microsoft Word working environment. And we are just going to understand some of its basics. At the top, we have the title bar, which displays the name of the document. Right now, this title bar, where you can see the mouse moving, the name of our document is document 1 because we have not yet renamed it. Below it is the ribbon, and this ribbon contains tabs such as Home, Insert, Design, Layout, References, Review. This is the ribbon I'm talking about. You can see the file Home, Insert, Design, Layout, References, and all these View, Help, and so on and so forth. Now, each of these tabs contains different commands. For this beginner tutorial, we shall mainly use the Home and the Insert tabs. The larger white area in the center, remember we are understanding the layout of Microsoft Word. So, this is the space where we are going to be typing and editing our work from. So, remember I said we are going to mostly deal with the Home tab and the Insert tab. These two are what we are going to play around with. So, what are we going to start with? The first thing we are going to do is to see how we type text. Now, we are going to type in this document. For demonstration purposes, I will type something, just a simple heading. For example, let's assume our heading is Introduction to Information and Communication Technology. How do we type on our keyboard? We have numbers and letters. Those characters are the ones we press to be able to type. So So I have typed this simple heading, Introduction to Information and Communication Technology. Then I'll press enter. Still, that enter key is on the keyboard. After I have pressed enter, you have seen that it has now moved to the next line below this heading. We are going to type a short paragraph below it. And as we type, Microsoft Word automatically moves the text to the next line. When we reach the end of the page, it is going to keep moving. So you don't need to keep pressing enter every time you reach at the end of the line. Only press enter when you want to start a new paragraph. So let's say maybe in today's tutorial, we are learning about Microsoft Word application and some basics. Then maybe it can be continuous. We are happy to improve maybe our ICT skills. So what I was explaining, the moment we reach at the end of the page or at the margin line, automatically it moved the words to the next line. So you can only press enter when you want to start a new line. Now, we are not going to type a lot of things. We're just going to type a few things. So sometimes we have those autocorrections to correct our grammar and all that. So usually when you see them having some underlining, you may find when it is expecting you to add some things to make it grammatically correct. For example, here, automatically the auto grammar corrector is suggesting that it's better we say, in today's tutorial, we learned about Microsoft Basics. We can choose this. It sounds better and correct grammatically. So, the next thing we want to learn about is how do we select the text. Now, before formatting text, you first need to select it. You place the mouse pointer at the beginning of the text. If I want to select this first text, I'm going to put my pointer at the beginning. The text I'm selecting is the heading of Introduction to Information and Communication Technology. So you place the mouse pointer at the beginning, you click and drag across the words you want to select, and then the selected text will appear highlighted. So I put at the beginning, I drag. Sometimes it can even end up highlighting at once. So you drag until that point where you want to stop from. Now you see that the selected text has shown or is appearing as highlighted. We can now change its appearance using the tools under the Home tab. What are some of the things under this tab? We can change the font style and font size. After highlighting, come here under the Home tab. You can see where the mouse is and locate the font section. Remember I said we are changing the font style and the size. So make sure you're under Home, you see it will highlight and put something like a blue underlined line to show that you have selected the Home tab. If you come to the Insert tab, it will do the same thing. Now, going back to the Home, and we are saying under Home, we want to identify the font section. So you see we have the font section here. We have paragraph section here, style section, voice section, editor, and add-ins. But we want to do something to do with the font. Here you can change things like the font style, You can change things like the font size and all that. So common professional fonts include things to do with Calibri, Times New Roman, but please note, it can always change. So we can maybe say we are going to give it a font of Times New Roman. You come here and you change the font type to Times New Roman. Also, we can say it is very small. We need to change its font size. So it means we'll come and we see. Now remember, we are still under this section of fonts. So where you're seeing the number 12 is where you can increase or reduce the font size from. So we can say maybe we're giving it 20. I know this 20 is looking huge. It's looking bigger. Many academic documents, usually they require you to use commonly 12 or 11, while the headings can be larger. So it always depends on maybe the requirements that have been given or how you want your document to appear. So we can also say this is bigger and maybe we give it 12. Always follow the formatting instructions that have been provided by your lecturer or your instructions or your bosses, depending. Now, after this, then next we can do is bold, italize, and underline. All these are under the font edits. This first letter B, when you hover or when you place the mouse, it will show you this is where you bold from. What is bolding? Bolding means text is going to appear darker, and we commonly use this for headings. When you click, you can see the heading is now darker. What does italic mean? Italic means you want words to slightly slant or you want to show emphasis. So when you come on the next letter I, it shows italic. When you click it, you see the words are somehow slanting. When do we use this? Can be used for titles or when you want to place emphasis on some text. We can also underline. Still under this, remember we selected this text, so we can go ahead and we underline. Underline is this letter U, where you have seen the mouse. Avoid using all these styles unnecessarily because too much formatting can make the document look unprofessional. So we don't need to use all of them at once. We can only use the required. So now what more can we do? We can change the text color. Remember, we have been dealing with only the heading. How about we try to edit this other text, the content? Still the same thing will happen. You will have to first highlight. Maybe we want to change the text color for the whole paragraph. Highlight the whole paragraph or sentence. And still going back to the font edits, we have these two colors. This one is font color. This one is a text highlight, giving it a color in the background, but we want the color of the text. On the drop down, there are very many colors. Maybe we can give it red. The other edits we did can happen even here. You can come here still on the font type and you give it Times New Roman to make it uniform. Still the font size can appear even on the paragraphs. You change and adjust. Something to note, use colors carefully, especially in formal documents. Black text on a white background is usually the safest option. I'm just turning this into red for demonstration purposes. But please note, we do not just change colors. So the text highlight color will always give us a look depending on what we need. Something else we can do is what we call paragraph alignment. Now let us look at that alignment. We want to see text alignment. In the paragraph section, remember we were just playing around with the font section, but we have this next one having paragraph. This is a paragraph section. Now in this section is where we can do different text alignment. Align left places. Text can be put maybe at the left margin, could be put in the center, that is the middle, could be put at the right, that is on the right margin. You could justify. Justifying ensures that both the right and the left and the right margins are evenly displayed. But for most academic reports, the body paragraphs are usually left aligned or justified depending on the requirements. Now, these alignments, here it's already left aligned. Remember we said it's in the paragraph category. When you choose this one, the center, the words are in the middle. When you choose the right aligned, you can see they are now on the right margin. When you choose justify, both the right and the left are going to be balanced evenly. Something else is line spacing. To adjust spacing, you click the line and paragraph spacing button. This allows you to choose spacing such as 1.0. So when we come here, this is line and paragraph spacing. And when you click it, it allows you to choose the spacing. This is the space between the different lines. Most of the academic documents require us to use 1.5 or double spacing. For example, if we choose double spacing, which is 2, you can see that the space between these two lines has increased. We can make it 3. You see it is now bigger. So again, always check the instructions given for your assignments. We also have something in this paragraph section that is the bullets and numbering. Microsoft Word allows you to create lists. For example, you can be able to say that some of the skills learned today, or some of the skills, learned today include, and you want to list these skills, maybe typing, bolding, underlining. So you want these 3 skills to have an ordered list, like you want them to be in order. So this is where the numbering comes in. You click bullets if the order is not important, but you click numbering when those items must follow a specific sequence. For example, you can come still under the paragraph category and you click bullets. But sometimes you'll find when they told you, we want to see the order. If that is the case, come here and you choose numbering. It will show you 1, 2, 3. The first one is typing, followed by bolding, underlining, and so on and so forth. Also, the spacing, you can say, maybe for these lists, I want them to have a spacing of 1.0. Still, it goes back to the point of we follow instructions. What more can we do? Let me see. We can insert pictures. So to insert pictures now, we leave the Home tab and we come to the Insert tab. When you come here, you're going to select pictures and you're going to choose whether the picture is from your device or from another source. Just come here on pictures and those options will come. Do you have pictures on your computer? Do you want to use the stock images? Or you want to use online pictures? If you had them on your device, you would opt for that. If you didn't, you can opt for the stock. Maybe we want pictures about fruits. So we'll search for fruits and you see they are going to give us the pictures. So after you have located and you have identified it, you need to select, let's say maybe we can take any fruits. Okay, let's select this. After selecting, you click to insert. You see here where the mouse is, you click and insert. And the picture will be inserted. When it is inserted, you see they'll give you picture options to edit, to change. For example, you may say, I want to remove the background of the picture. But then if you realize removing the background now, you see how it looks like, you can undo. You can add artistic features, transparency, correction. You can come here on the borders. Maybe you want it to be circular. You can play around, maybe the size. Anything that you want to do with the picture. There are other things we can do. You can do many things. You can insert page breaks. You can put table of content. You can do anything you need to do depending on the instructions. But maybe before we go further, something important. We don't want to lose this content. Remember, we had selected our list. That's why when we inserted, the list disappeared. It was more like the image was replacing the list because we had selected. So we need to save this document. So saving is very, very important. You need to save your work regularly. How do you save? You move the mouse to this point with File. I hope you can see the File tab. Click File, then Save As. Choose the location where you want to save. Do you want to save it on a desktop? Do you want to save it in document? Choose the location. For my case, I want the desktop. But on the desktop, I want to have a specific folder. So I'll come and I browse. In the browsing, I'll select desktop. And on the desktop, we are going to put a folder, let's say ICT skills, ICT basics. We can call it basics. So inside that folder is where I want to save this file, but I want to give it a name. Type a clear file name, for example, Introduction to ICT. So for our case, we are going to say maybe first Word file. Then we come here and we click on this statement save. The document will normally be saved with the extension .doc or .docx. So this one is just about backing up, but I'm not backing up at the moment. I'm just saving on the local desktop. So when we come here on file, you realize that there was a statement save and there is this one save as. So save and save as, these two statements, what is the difference? Whenever you update a document, you just click save because you're just saving extra things in the current document. Save as can be used when you're saving this document for the first time, and also it can allow you to create another copy using a different name. So when you're saving for the first time, you need to save as. Let's assume maybe you realize the file name you gave is not what you expected. So you come here in our folder and you want to rename this file. Let's assume you realize that in the middle of the assignment, they told you to use a different name after you have already saved. So you just need to come. When you see up here, the title bar, there is an option of rename. But also, you can just right-click and then click rename. Maybe this time round, you want to name it as MS Word file. And then you enter. It is important to know where your file is saved so that you can find it and use it later. So, we can also change the file. Now, some of the mistakes we usually make, we make mistakes like typing without saving the document, and then at the end of that day, sometimes if you're using maybe a desktop and some of the things were not automatically saved, you can lose the work. Using maybe too many colors and font styles, and then your document can end up not looking professional. Pressing enter repeatedly when you're creating new pages, stretching pictures until they become distorted, or saving a file in an unknown location, closing before you've confirmed. So those are some of the mistakes we can make when we are working with Microsoft Word. But through practice, we can overcome these mistakes and always save your document regularly. You can even see on date of modification, it will show you that you last saved this document at 15 minutes past 2. Now, in the previous video where we were zipping files in the folder, you'll be able to see even if the file size is what you expected. Sometimes you end up creating many documents and some of them have 0 kilobytes. But here you can see that our file has something. It has 1,303 kilobytes. So there is something. You can always double check. Right click and open to double check and be sure. So you have now learned the essential Microsoft Word skills that you need to create and format a basic document. In our next tutorial, we shall learn Microsoft Excel basics, including things to do with rows, columns, cells, entering data, and using just simple basic formulas. And many more skills can be got from this channel. Thank you so much for learning with me. Subscribe to IT and Research Accelerator for more practical ICT skills, programming, embedded systems, cybersecurity, and research tutorials. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson.